start by just raise your hand. How many of you identify yourselves as leaders and make contributions in your, that is great. I'm gonna share my journey to leadership. When I was 2 years old, my life changed. I was a happy little child playing in my home in Sudan. And the next day, I was fleeing my home country in Kudjo with my family. My mom was 8 months pregnant, and we were fleeing to Khartoum because of the war. We got separated, and me and my 6 siblings went to Kenya, where we lived in a refugee camp. And for a year, separated from my parents, separated from my aunts and uncles, separated from my family. It was just us, and we lived there for a year. And we got reunited with my parents a year later, where we moved to Nairobi, and we searched for what is home, what's home gonna be, where are we going next, what are we gonna do next. And that journey brought us to Canada, a place where I didn't know where Canada was, I didn't know what Canada was about, I didn't know what it would be like, I didn't know the experience, but I came to Canada. And the first thing that I'm still not used to is the winter. That was the first thing. I was like, what's this white stuff? What's happening? What's going on? Why is it cold? Why am I bundled up with all the clothes in my closet? What is going on? And my parents have set a role model, an example for me. They each worked 3 jobs. They started sponsoring Sudanese families, relatives and non-relatives from 1993 to 2007. We were sponsoring families to bring them and give them another opportunity. And at one point in my life, I was just like in the space of, I just want to go home. This is not what I envisioned my life to be. This is not where I want to be. But at 13 years old, I started realizing that the complaint that I have in my life is a complaint that I'm going to live in, and there's an opportunity for me to do something. So I decided to be a voice for Sudanese youth. And I started raising money and tuition and started getting supplies so I can send to the refugee camp that I lived in for a year. And not knowing what that would do, I started writing letters to all the government heads around the world that were influenced in Sudan. Again, not knowing what that outcome would be. And just doing it because I knew that I can. And it was time for me to stop being a complaint and time for me to start being a commitment, because I was given a second chance in life. And there were so many people that were losing their lives. And I was given a chance with my siblings to come to Canada. So after doing that, I started looking at what does it mean to be a voice of Sudanese youth? What is the voice that they are looking to hear? And started to spread the word about how the war has affected Sudanese youth in Sudan and how it's affected my life. And I fast forwarded to what is it the contribution that I can make to Canada? Because Canada is now home to me, and it's about connecting those two. And I became involved with Redressing the Baldhead, where I started working with Black youth, and in 2007 I took youth to New Orleans to rebuild New Orleans after Katrina. I've taken youth to Baltimore to do work with youth in detention centers on the war on drugs and how it affects communities of color. I've done work with the chief of police and harm reduction. I've also taken youth to the inauguration, and this is an opportunity for them to witness leadership in a different effect. But I think that one of my greatest contributions has been my trip back home. This summer I went to Sudan for the first time since I left Sudan when I was 2. And the opportunity was, when I got to Sudan, what I realized was all that work that I'd been doing since I was 13 manifested itself to greatness. I got to meet the youth that were in the schools at the refugee camp that I sent materials to that are now going to university in the University of Khartoum. And I got to meet with my community where I've always said since I was a kid that I've wanted to make contributions to this world. And I've always wanted to do it through my passion with women and children. And this summer I was able to sit down with the community and work towards building a hospital in my country. And in about 3 years, I'm going to have 2 facilities that will be operating in Sudan so that healthcare can be the opportunity to empower and inspire people to live a conscious life and have a second chance to life. And I think that at the end of the day, what I've learned through my journey of leadership is that we have the complaint that the world is the way it is and we can't make a change. We always hear that one person can do it all. And I've sat inside of that and been my commitment. My passion is to exchange the world and connect everybody and have everybody be inspired. But it's also to be a stand for greatness. And I believe that each of us as individuals have the opportunity to manifest greatness. There's nothing that I can't do, that you can't do, that we can't do together. And it's up to us to be the source of our vision and be the stand to be our vision fulfilled so that we can be the change that we want to be. I was a 2-year-old in Sudan. Yes, there's still conflict in Sudan, but I'm not standing inside the conflict. I'm standing in the space of creating greatness, and I'm standing in the space that no matter what the conflict is, there's an opportunity for me to empower somebody's life. And I am the physical manifestation of what is possible, from going from war to peace and providing new opportunities for everyone. So I think that if I can leave you one thing, I hope that at the end of the day, at the end of this conference, that you can all raise your hands and be leaders, because it's up to you to be the stand, and it's up to you to be more, and it's up to you to be the individual that manifests your vision, because no one else can do it better than you, and no one else can manifest it more authentically than you. And I thank you for the opportunity of being here, and it's been a great conference, and it's been a great journey. And I just think that the world is, it's possible. We can all change the world, and we can all do different things, but it's up to us. And I think that you can all do it, and you guys are magnificent. The fact that you've been here today means that there's an opportunity for you to engage yourself and for you to create a new space of being. So thank you very much.